Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tanya Innovations Africa. I am happy that this afternoon, the day that we have been waiting for has come, and we are yet to begin our event right at Kabembe, organized by Incredible Youth International. And I'm happy that this afternoon I have some of the resourceful persons that have made substantial contributions to third world countries, the champions of the Sustainable Development Goals. And this afternoon, I have none other than the representative of Uganda for UNICEF, or the UNICEF country representative, Dr. Munir. Dr. Munir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am so happy to see you today.
Me too, and happy International Day of Education to you and all the audience.
Thank you. Before we could even have any interview bite, allow me on behalf of Ugandans and Africa to thank you for the work that you are doing as UNICEF. We feel you down on ground, and I hope that as we are joining this celebration of the Day of International Education Day, we could be able also to touch many other lives that have not yet been touched. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. My name is Maganda Evans Tabingwa. I'm the head of Business Live Global and CEO Tanya Innovations. And our major aim is to make sure that we go into the mindset change programs. We make sure that the young people can do the networking, and we also cascade whatever information that is available to get to the common man. So we have social media handles that usually do such as we have come for this event. After you have made your speech, it's going to be our responsibility to make sure that this message gets to many Africans, both within and in the diaspora. So very welcome to this platform.
Thank you very much. It's my
Yeah.
pleasure
So,
to be with you.
Dr. Munir, is there anything specific that you want, any other further introduction that you would like to make about yourself?
No, I think I'm very excited to be here today, all of us marking the International Day of Education, and it's not a coincidence.
Yes.
But it is something I think that we should all be happy about, that the schools in Uganda have just reopened a few days ago, and this is something to add to our celebration of the International Day of Education.
Right. Thank you so much, Doctor. Now, we have a theme that is related to different transformations that are being done in relation to SDG 4. Why is there so much emphasis on the inclusiveness in this type of communication that we're having today? Because we are seeing the concept of inclusiveness, we are seeing the concepts of the green skills. Where do you come in as UNICEF, and why would people be excited about this theme today?
Well, let me start by emphasizing that education is a right. It's a human right,
Yes.
and it is a child right. And that's why we must ensure the inclusivity of education. No one should be left out. There are certain categories of vulnerable human beings, especially children, that are usually left out unless we give them very special attention. Let me mention, for instance, children with different abilities.
Yes.
And who may not be able to probably cope with the education system as it is designed, or the way it is designed in a number of countries. And that's why we need to make extra effort to ensure that education is inclusive of these categories of children.
Okay.
We are also seeing now that there are other groups of children, of learners, who will definitely face a challenge coming back to schools, especially after the long closure of schools in Uganda due to the COVID pandemic. We do believe that it won't be easy for children who have joined the labor force, children who are now working and supporting their families financially, to come back to school unless we do a special effort to bring them back.
Okay.
We also know the girls who have become teenage mothers or are teenage pregnant, who ended up either in pregnancy with or without any form of marriage. And there is no child marriage, it's completely illegal.
Correct.
So for these groups of girls, we need extra measures to support them to facilitate their return to schools.
Okay.
So the inclusivity of education is very important if we take into consideration some of the categories of vulnerable children that I just mentioned.
Oh, okay. Okay, that sounds like it is so great. Um, Now, our resident representative of UNICEF in Uganda, I have been involved in teaching at university level. I know that while other universities have been able to do a very good job, I would give, for example, university like Cavendish University, which has been able to sustain their students through all these trying times of COVID. We also have universities that have actually not been at school at all. And we know that there are available technological platforms, e-learning platforms, that could be used in such scenarios to make sure that we don't have these type of challenges again. What is what is UNICEF? Are there any strategies that I would say you have put in place to ensure closing of the technological gaps? Because we have online platforms that will help us to do quite a commendable job. So much as other institutions have been able to run their milestone to do this, but we still have many that have not been able to do. Do we have any strategy in that regard from UNICEF?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
And let me start by saying that UNICEF has been and will continue to be strongly advocating and working for the continuity of learning. The continuity of learning means that with or without the schools open, we want to see education not interrupted, continuing all the time.
Okay.
We do understand that during the lockdown, during the school closures, the majority of learners were not able to enjoy continuity of learning.
Yes.
There were good efforts from the Ministry of Education providing reading material for children to use at home. But definitely for many children to use this reading material at home, they needed the educated parent,
Yes.
and they needed the parent who has the time
That's
to help
right.
them, which was not possible for many of them. So despite the availability of the reading material, the benefit of continuity of learning was not there for many children.
Okay.
Then, as you've mentioned, the e-learning was the mode of education that most of countries, most of learning institutions shifted to when we had the lockdown and the school closures. However, it's not available for everyone.
Correct.
It's not available for institutions, many schools in rural areas where they don't have even electricity. Forget about having a PC. It was not possible, it was not available for many learners sitting at home in rural areas where, again, parents could not afford to have electricity, could not afford to have a device.
Okay.
And again, for many other learners, the affordability of the internet packages was also a limitation factor. And over and above all of that, not all education systems were able to adapt their classic curricula into a curricula that can be delivered through e-learning. They were not able to train the teachers to deliver effective e-learning. That's why we believe the way forward is really to focus on continuity of learning, which includes a number of approaches and strategies. The e-learning is one of them for sure, and it is the most effective e-learning when the prerequisites, the infrastructure is there.
Okay.
So for us in UNICEF, we have already engaged in East and South Africa in an agreement with Airtel to provide affordable internet services to support the schools moving forward to be able to deliver more e-learning.
Okay. Thank you so much for this interview. At this point, are there any last remarks that you want to make to the audience or the listeners?
Yes, absolutely. I just want to share my excitement with students, with learners, with teachers, with parents that the schools have reopened. But I have a plea to make, is that we need to keep schools open safely. And that means mainly full compliance with the SOPs, full compliance with the measures that will ensure that the schools will not become a place for COVID infections and the schools will not be closed again. So this is my plea to everyone out there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
you.
Dr. Munir. Thank you for coming to Tanya Innovations. We wish you well, and we hope that all the efforts you're making will make the change that we want to see, especially by God having enabled us to be alive today, and we can make the change we want to see in Africa.
We praise God
Thank
for
you so
that,
much,
and thank you for your
and
time.
enjoy the function.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.